All right, hey guys, Glenn Hardy back with you. It is October the 4th, 2018. It's been a while since I made a video, so I thought I would want to catch you up. It has been a while since I made a video, and I wanted to give everybody an update on where we're at. So I've been pretty busy with my regular 9-to-5 job, working here at the oil lease, and just keeping up with the maintenance of that, keeping up with production. And then also I coach baseball. I coach 2 teams of baseball here in the Kansas City area, so that does require a lot of time. So between that and hay and everything else, hasn't given me a whole lot of time to make any more videos. So let's give you guys an update. Working at an oil lease is always a dirty job. That looks like money to me, baby. So, as you can tell, it's a little cloudy out here today, kind of cooler. It's in the low 50s, and a little bit of rain last night. We got about a ½ inch of rain, so that kind of put a damper on harvest around this area. Wanted to show you some of the updates on late season beans. They're all group 4 beans, all the same variety number, so same maturity, all that. Some of the fields look good, others don't. So this is just an honest take of kind of where things are at right now. So what we've been doing lately is a lot of hay, just getting things ready for harvest and trying to get some things ready for harvest coming up here in the next couple weeks. Now that we have all of our corn stalks done, all of our hay done, what we're going to be focusing on really is equipment maintenance. I'm having all my beans custom harvested this year, so that's going to free up some of my other time to do other farm necessities, taking care of animals, taking care of future planning for 2019, trying to get our crop rotation figured out on what fields are going to be planted and what, and then going from there to what kind of cover crops are we going to be doing for 2019, trying to work on some contracts, different fertilizers, and also new land acquisition. So hopefully you guys stick around with us and see us farming some more land next year. So stick around and please like and please subscribe to my videos, and we'll give you an update on where we're at with these late season beans, these group 4 beans. I'll show you the good fields, show you the poor fields, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and learn from my successes. This is the 90-acre field that, as you can tell, these beans are starting to turn, and they'll be ready for picking here pretty quick. Now, you can tell there's beans and pods all across these plants, and we're gonna have a pretty good yield. Now this field is a little cleaner, but you can still tell that there are weeds out here. It's just the same problem there in the rows with the beans. This field isn't going to be a problem whatsoever with either yield or with getting them picked. We won't have a problem with slugging the combine or anything like that, but I'm really interested to see what this is going to yield. My estimates, I've done different soybean samples, and this is maybe a little bit better of a look. I've done different soybean estimates on this entire field in different locations, and it's looking like everywhere I've checked we're going to be in that 65 to 85 bushel an acre range. Again, you don't know what it's going to be until it runs through the combine, but being that it's organic, I'm not going to complain about this one bit. You know, we've got some of this velvet leaf out here the beans competed with, got an early jump on. And I don't know if I can get it zoomed in. That's a good picture going up that hill of the rows, and that's poor soil right there. The rows are clean inside the rows. It's just what is actually in the row with the bean. So overall, very happy with this field. This is going to be one of my better yielding fields. Not the best, but it's going to be one of the better overall yielding fields. That water hemp, it's probably, I'd say 7.5, 8 feet tall, and you can tell the beans are, 4.5, 5 feet tall and they're just loaded down with pods. So we'll be picking this field before you know it. So this field is the field that I took most of my videos in. There's actually a deer right out there walking almost to the tree line. You barely see it. See, it's going in right now. But anyway, this is one of the fields you saw me in quite a bit, and this is probably out of all my fields the most disappointing. I really don't know what I could have done better. We do have a good stand of beans, and I'll get down. I'm on my truck bed right now. I really don't know what I could have done better, because even though I never did rotary hoe this field, I cultivated this field 4 times, and it's just disappointing that there's this much grass and this many weeds out in this field. Now, with that being said, let's get down and show you. When I originally looked at these beans, I pulled a couple plants from here. I did a stand count from here back over the hill, up there, and over there, and doing population counts and stand counts and pod counts and everything else. Doing the calculations, I was gonna hit about 90 bushels an acre. Some of my plants had 135 to 140 pods on the plant. Others had 60 to 70 to 80. So I mean, the pod count was very, very high. And I think with the weed pressure that we've had, or that we still have, we had a lot of abortion. Now there are, as you can tell, bugs and different insects that eat the leaves, and they're eating the pods and everything else, but there are still beans out here. It'll be harvested. I think I'll be lucky to get an average on this entire 50-acre field. I will be extremely lucky to get 30 bushels an acre. I walked out here 2 months ago, did the stand count. I walked out here 3 weeks ago and was absolutely blown away by the number of pods that are no longer on the plants. So had a lot of pod abortion is my only guess, due to the weed pressure, insect pressure. And here's a few plants that they still have a good number of pods on them. If I can get in there to show you, they still do have a good number of pods, but it is nowhere near what it was when I originally did my stand count. The stand is still there, plants are still there. It's just pods either didn't fill, or they completely fell off the plant, they aborted them. And this right here is one of the better parts of the field. So you can't misrepresent that. Yeah, they look pretty good right here, but you could walk back that way and maybe 10 bushels an acre. So a whole field average, being conservative, we're just not going to have the yield on this field that I thought we were going to have. So, but that's farming, that's life. A lot of deer pressure out here too. That probably had a significant role to play in it, but I'm gonna go and take video of one more field, but this is what happens on some of these years. The rows are clean. It is, these weeds that you see are weeds that germinated in the rows with the beans. For some reason, these beans can't, when they canopied over, they didn't canopy over either quick enough, or they didn't shade out the grass. There was no grass out in this field a month and a half ago. Had a good solid canopy. We did have the velvet leaf. We did have the ragweed and a little bit of water hemp, but primarily it was velvet leaf, as you can tell. Had a good canopy, and the grass still managed to come up, and I really don't know how to approach that next year to keep that from happening. This field will be corn next year, so I don't know if we'll have the same problem on that or not. I did disc it early. I disced it several different times, cultivated it several times, field cultivated and row cultivated it, and it's just disappointing. We had such a good yield potential, and it really diminished. So the weeds just came in and sucked out the nutrients that the beans needed. If we didn't have the weed pressure, I would be probably blown away with where our yield would be at, what our pod counts and everything else would be at. But again, you don't know what you have until you run it through the machine. I might be surprised, but I'm not going to hold my breath about it. We've got about 8 to 10 inches of water in the beans. So it's now October 8th, and I never did get down to make my last video on the last bean field that I'd planted. And last night we had 8 inches of rain. So, as you can probably guess, our beans down in the area that I was going to go look at are underwater. I don't know. I'm sure this is going to kill the yield. Now, they're not laying over yet. I really don't know how this is going to affect the yield. I know it's going to, but I don't know if it's going to completely decimate the yield, or even if the combine can get in there and pick it. We're still probably, the leaves are starting to turn down there, kind of like the rest of the fields. Today is the last warm day that for a while. I think today's high is going to be in the low 80s, which is a temperature increase from where it was at. But the next 2 days we're not supposed to get out of the 50s, and our lows are supposed to be down in the mid 30s, so mid to high 30s. So I'm sure that is going to have an impact on the beans as well. Completely shut everything down. The thing is it only affected one of my fields. The bad news is it was the best yielding field. So it just sucks. Just sucks. So alright guys, I'll keep updating you guys as soon as I know more, but I wanted to close this video out and just kind of show you a little bit of where we're at, and it doesn't look pretty at all. Alright guys, thanks.